Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Couch's Perspective. Once again, you got your boy checking in, JB. I got something good for y'all today. I told y'all I'm going to talk about more than just my team. I'm going to give my reward to the best draft class this year, 2020. My pick goes to, I remember in my previous video I said I like the Cowboys pick. I still do like the Cowboys pick. But the best picks overall in the 2020 draft, this award goes to the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens have one of the best draft picks this year in this draft. As I went over my notes and looked at, really got in depth into this year's draft, the Baltimore Ravens had an outstanding strategy when it came down to picking players. And that goes out to the owner, Steve Briscott. He and the general manager, Eric DeCosta, made great decisions this draft. I'm going to run down the picks of their draft this year, and I'm going to show you why that they executed at a high level. The ex-owner, Ozzie Newsome, had a great mind when it came down to selecting players, and this strategy continues to fall in. Now, that's why the Ravens are in the position every year to compete for a Super Bowl championship, because of the decisions they make in the offseason, decisions they make when they're behind the draft board, the scouting. They have great scouting in their department. I mean, they have an overall great franchise. You're talking about the owner, Steve Briscott. I hope I'm not pronouncing his name wrong. He's a $4.4 billionaire executive. I mean, he is highly regarded for his intelligence, obviously, because he stays relevant in the NFL conversation. The Baltimore Ravens, and their team is known for killer defenses, and I see why, because of the strategy these guys put in, day out. That's why some of these picks that he has, I have reiterated over and over again to the Falcons organization. I know this is a small channel, but these are some of the things that the organization needs to pick up on. They need to get better scouts. They need to get better people to move players around. I mean, everybody can't be a Falcon for life. You have to make moves, strategize moves in decision making when it comes down to the NFL draft, preparing your team for the future. If you want to have a cornerstone team in the NFL, you have to make moves like one. Okay, so let's run down some of the players that they got. The number one pick that the Ravens have selected was Patrick Queen out of LSU, which is a great pick. You're talking about sideline to sideline player who can move laterally, hips open up. He has a great knack for the ball. I mean, he's everywhere on the field. As you can see in the Clemson game, he was everywhere. His tackling was I think he got like 12 tackles in the Clemson in the national championship game. It's an inside linebacker who has a presence for the ball. He doesn't get tied up with the linemen. So that was a great pick to pair him with C.J. Mosley in that defensive for the Ravens. So that's the first pick. That was a great pick for the Ravens. Okay, bolster up that defense so Lamar Jackson can get the ball back. The second pick that they acquired from the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, and I don't know why Atlanta Falcons gave this pick up for Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is he's a you don't know who Hayden Hurst is, because in the NFL he hasn't shined. He's been in the back shadows of Mark Andrews. So you don't know who you got, and you gave up a second round pick for him. To me, I would have gave up a fourth or fifth for him, and exchange for a player or something. I would never gave up a second round pick for Hayden Hurst. We'll see what he does this year. He might be an outstanding player. But the value of that 55th pick that they gave up was very crucial for the Falcons. I'm going to tell you why. With this next pick, the Ravens selected in the 55 pick was J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins was a guy who was outstanding at a pass catcher for Ohio State, and he's actually outstanding running. He's very fast. He's very strong, lower body. That's one of the picks that Falcons were looking at in the draft. And Ravens actually got this pick from them. So I don't know the stats of Ty Gurley, and Falcons are looking at their backup running backs and saying that they may have a future with them, but J.K. Dobbins was there for the taking, and you could have took J.K. Dobbins, but the Ravens got that pick from him, and they took J.K. Dobbins. That was a great pick for them. That paired him with Mark Ingram. So Mark Ingram and him will be in the backfield. That's a crucial backfield right there. The next pick that they picked was one of the guys I was talking about on my last podcast as well. If you go back and look at my podcast, and one of the first and second ones, it was D lineman from Texas A&M, Justin Mabuku. I don't know how to spell his last name, but look this guy up. He is a thumper in the middle. He's a little undersized for a D lineman, but I think he's rated in probably like 305. But this guy is strong. His stature is strong. His build is strong. He's kind of like a Grady Jarrett when it comes down to the defensive lineman. That was a great pickup. Watch these picks in the NFL, how they progress. Watch these players progress. That's a great pick for them in the middle of their defense. And once again, they're boasting their defense. The number 3 pick, because they had a lot of picks this draft. The third round pick was wide receiver Devin Duvernay. Devin Duvernay is from Texas. Devin Duvernay was a track star. Devin Duvernay was a 4.4 guy who can add to another weapon for Lamar Jackson, which was a great pick out of that. And I'm not mad at that pick. I like where they picked him at. He's very fast. He has okay hands. His hands can improve. But this was a great guy to pick up out of Texas. The next pick they got was one of the guys I was preaching on for the Atlanta Falcons. The third round selection was Malik Harrison out of Ohio State, outside linebacker. This guy's a thumper. It's one of those guys that he's not a Ray Lewis type guy, but he hits hard like Ray Lewis. One thing about it is you won't have a wide receiver come across that middle and challenge him to catch that ball there, because he's going to hit him. Go back and look at his tape. Okay? So that was a great pick there. Another third round pick. They had, 4 third round picks? The next pick is Trey Phillips, the guard out of Mississippi State. They're boasting up the offensive line to help Lamar Jackson and to stay back there in the pocket and move or whatever you want to do in the pocket. Okay, so they got him. He's a guard out of Mississippi State. 4th round pick. They got Ben Bredesen from I don't know if I messed up that last name, but he's the guard out of Michigan. This guy is a big left guard that came out of Michigan. He can move the pile. He can get to the second level. It's one of the guys that I had on my draft board as well. He's a big guy, big and physical out of Michigan. One of those no-nonsense guys who's going to come and hit you in your mouth to help out Lamar Jackson once again in the passing game. So be looking out for him too. Okay. The 5th round pick is a D lineman out of Texas Tech, Broderick. He's a defensive tackle. He's okay. I had him ranked probably as a D. Hopefully he makes the team and they get the guys who's there helping the D line to enhance his game. But he's an okay pick there. But the 6th pick, they went after James Pro Shea out of SMU, wide receiver. He's a fast wide receiver. Could be a kickoff return pick here. Special teams pick, which is still good. At that value, I rated him very high. B-. A lot of papers out there or a website had him as an A for a wide receiver. So that's another good pick for them. And then last, they have safety out of Iowa, Geno Stone. Geno Stone was rated pretty high coming out, but he had some kind of issue that dropped him so far down. They had him rated an A as well. I had him rated by like a B- as well too. And then he's a 6'2" safety. He's a kind of frame, got a nice frame on him. That was a deciding factor with them. As you can see, the Ravens have established a great draft. That's why I'm picking them as my #1 draft pick for 2020. And Ravens will once again compete. And this time, I think they'll go to the Super Bowl and possibly win the Super Bowl this year. That's my picks from them. As you can see, let me break down how they got to all these picks. Okay, they traded the picks. The traded picks they received was 6 traded picks. Okay, 6 traded picks during the draft and before the draft. Okay, the compensatory picks they got was they got 2 of those from the league because they got rid of a lot of players. Okay, so they got 3 picks from the Patriots, 3 picks from the Vikings, and 1 silly pick from the Falcons that they received. Okay, so making moves during the draft, moving people to create picks. Like we had Devontae Freeman, we let him go. We didn't get no pick value from him, even though he had injury problems. We still could have got at least a 4th round, 5th round pick out of him. Desmond Trufant, you could have got a pick from him for releasing him. It's ways you strategize in this league to get on top. Okay, and I think that Thomas Dimitroff, Arthur Blank, they need to actually reevaluate their system, or Arthur Blank need to cut ties with these lower guys like the scouting department and the GM Thomas Dimitroff. He makes okay picks, but coming from the Patriots, you think he'll come in here and turn the tables around, and they haven't been turned around yet. They made it to the Super Bowl, true enough, but when they got in the Super Bowl, they made the wrong decisions in the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl should have been won. It was 28-3. So those guys should have put that game away a long time ago. But it's the way you set up your board. This is not checkers. I keep telling people this is chess. So you got to move in that manner. So reach out if you see where my picks land and you see the players that I picked in this year's draft, and like I told y'all, I always pick the best players in the draft. I scout. I'm an analyst. This is what I do. So you need to be reaching out to me and learning from what the strategies I see and what developments and players I tell you to let go. You need to let go in the time frame for you can build your team. Okay, don't hold on to players. Don't just re-sign players because they're on the team. Let's look at the productivity and look at what kind of player we can get from him, or what kind of draft picks we can get from a possible player. Okay, a lot of Super Bowl teams do not keep players; they rotate them. Okay, throughout the league to build on more success. So this is a segment that I wanted to get out because the Ravens had a A+ in my book, really 100 when it come down to picking players and it come down to the strategy that you will see this year. That the big decisions that they made this year will affect their success this year in the NFL, period. The Super Bowl is the big promise. So if they don't have any issues or any concerns with their team, they're highly rated to win the Super Bowl this year. This is the Couch's Perspective. Please like, subscribe, comment, as I always say. And I'm on Twitter at Couch's Perspective 1. Check me out. Send me comments, leave a message. It doesn't matter. I will respond. And please hit that subscribe button. And please watch the video in its entirety so I can create more content like this. I will have my draft board up to show you what the Falcons did and show you some of the mistakes that I think they made in this draft and show you some of the highlights that I think were pluses in this draft for the Falcons. And that is my number one analysis on the best draft class in 2020. Once again, this is Couch's Perspective. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll get back to you on the next one.